What's up, guys? It's Devin Harrington, the average Gen Xer. Welcome back to my channel, where today we are headed over to the Childfree subreddit. And most child-free people, particularly child-free women, but men as well, most of us have at one time or another been told that our desire not to bring children into the world is very, very selfish, and that we should be shamed for that, basically. Basically, that's what they're saying. Shame on you for not wanting what you're supposed to want. But now in the 21st century, many people have flipped their opinion. And it's now beginning to become clear that bringing children into this world with all its myriad problems, which we won't get into right now, is selfish. And we're going to look at some posts that attempt to explain why that is. So let's get to it. But first, on every video on this channel, I encourage all animal lovers out there, please consider volunteering on site or fostering for your local animal or rescue. These two little beauties are Dottie here and Miss Pearl here, and they are some Black Lab Pity mix puppies, and they are about 10 weeks old now, and they are just adorable. They're teething. Ow. And they I did have 3 of them. Their brother got adopted already. So if you love animals, please do your little part to help save the world. Do it for the animals. Thank you. Okay, first post is by user Change Like a Phoenix, cool username. And it's a rant called "Having Kids is So Selfish and I'm Sick of It." Same, girl, same. Much needed rant because people think I'm harsh for this in my life. Well, of course they think you're harsh because even now today, women are still expected to be soft and squishy and want nothing more out of life than to find a man and get pregnant. Puppies, stop. Okay, so she says, I keep seeing pregnancy announcements everywhere, and everyone acts like it's something so great and how it's such a blessing. But get real. What world are we leaving behind for them? People can barely afford groceries and healthcare, but they think they can afford a child? No, they probably don't even think they can afford a child, but they will tell themselves that everything will work out fine because you're bringing a baby, a cute little baby, an innocent baby, and they put all their emotion into that innocence and new life and possibility, and that's all they focus on. What it's going to cost them physically, emotionally, mentally, financially doesn't really come into it. And unfortunately, a lot of people just assume that the state will fund their life or family or whatever. They go on. Even if they think they can afford it, you're subjecting your child to the absolute hell and insanity that is this world. I genuinely think there's nothing more selfish than having kids. People just want a baby. They underestimate just how much work they are. And this was true for my sister. My sister had her first recently. She has yearned to be a mom for years, but could finally try after dealing with some health problems. So here's someone who really wanted to have kids, really wanted to be a mom. So this should all work out fine, right? And both the pregnancy and these initial months were very difficult for her. She complained about how nobody was checking in on her while she was pregnant and how it was really difficult for her. But before her pregnancy, I warned her it would be rough because she has always said that my body was made for this as a woman. It's what women were meant to do. I had a very difficult time sympathizing during her pregnancy, and even now, because I warned her so many times. I knew she had rose-tinted glasses on, but I'm just shocked at how much people underestimate. She just wanted a baby. Yeah, she wanted an accessory. Right here. The cutest accessory on earth, according to many people. But that's not reality. That's an Instagram photo. That's not the reality of having a baby. Either carrying it, having it, raising it, dealing with all the problems that come along with it. None of that goes on Instagram, does it? You don't see a 4th-degree vaginal tear from giving birth on Instagram. You see the picture with the mom with the tears and the skin to skin. Oh, so precious. What world is that baby going to grow up in? They already, in the US, have less rights than their parents. Anyway, let's go on. She goes on. She compared her 3 dogs, waking them up at night, to a newborn baby and said it wouldn't be worse than that. Oh, you stupid little girl. My Shayla, needless to say, it's been kicking her ass. And she's never been more exhausted. I've kept the I told you so to myself because my family would chew me out for that. But they had to sell one of her 2 cars because they couldn't afford it with a mortgage and a baby on the way. And they can't afford childcare, so my mom will be watching the baby full time when my sister goes back to work next month. So these people shouldn't even have had a kid. If you need someone else to watch your kid while you go to work to pay for the kid's life, how is that any kind of way to do anything? Yeah, she's with the grandma, that's family. But I spent a lot of time with my grandma because my mom was working, and that was good to an extent. But I really needed my mom's presence. And that's what children need more than anything you can buy them. They need your presence and your emotional presence and your care and comfort more than anything. In my humble opinion, because I don't have kids, I only know what it was like when I was a kid. And so I'm saying, this woman wanted nothing more than to be a mother, yet she's got to give the baby over to her mother so she can go to work all day. What's the point? She spams the family group chat with videos and pictures of the baby, and I never respond because I'm like, it's just a video of a baby being bounced. There's so many of her baby doing absolutely nothing. I just don't get it. I'm really over everyone's babies. Okay, some of the comments on this post. Vegetable Soft said they want babies, not kids. Once it's older, they lose interest. There's no non-selfish reason to have kids. Very true. And if you watch any of my content on YouTuber Alexandra Rodriguez or follow her shenanigans online, you will probably know that she is now pregnant with her 2nd child because her 1st child is a 1.5 years old. He's standing, he's walking, he's kind of talking, making noise, and he's not a baby anymore. He's not an infant. So she's got knocked up again because she wants a baby. This girl who can't even take care of the one that she has, although we won't get into that. That'll be another post on Alex coming soon. But it's just tragic that there are so many women out there who just want the baby. They love to be pregnant because they get attention. They're special when they're pregnant, especially today in our child-obsessed world. Fuck Reddit username said, they also most certainly don't want adults who have their own minds. They are exclusively interested in exerting total control over a defenseless, helpless life form. They get off on the power of having total authority over a being that will literally die without them. Certainly, I think a lot of people have kids because it's a boost to their ego for whatever reason. I mean, maybe it's biologically we're wired for it to be a boost to our ego, so we'll keep doing it. But this is the 21st century. There are 8.3 billion of us motherfuckers on this planet. We don't need more children for a long while. If I were in charge of the world, I would say no kids for 20 years. And that's just that. No more people being born. Let some of the population die off. Let the planet have a break. Let us all find something fucking better to do than just breed. Viola La La said, it's even sicker to me because they're trapping your parents into second parenthood. And even if they're happy about it, it's so wrong to just assume and demand other people take care of a child. What happens when the grandparents pass? Honestly, I am forever grateful that my mother always said she would absolutely not be a parent again, and only ignorant, selfish people demand that. She was very clear on what it actually takes to raise a child, and I pity every woman who was lied to by their mothers. Absolutely. Someone gave her an award for that. She said, "Thank you for the award. Sorry for responding so late." That is very true. Most people are not told. I mean, how it is possible in the age of Google that anyone can come on the regretful parent subreddit and say, why didn't anyone tell me it was going to be this hard? You have no excuse. I say it on every freaking child-free video. Go on YouTube. I haven't even looked, but I bet you there's at least a 10-minute video of an infant screaming, and you should have that on for an hour every day before you decide that you want to have a baby. See if you can take the noise. Never mind the mess and the clutter and the loss of autonomy in your own life, because your life has to become that baby's life is your life if you're going to be a good parent. You could be a piece of shit. You know, we all watch enough true crime to know that there's many, many, many people out there who have no business raising children, who deserve to be in prison for what they have done to their innocent children. So that's one extreme end of the spectrum. But there are plenty of people on the other end of that spectrum, in my opinion, my channel, my opinion, that they just want a kid because they don't look good carrying a baby around. Look, everyone, I had a baby. Potential Mention said they're selfish people. They want a kid or a baby, but they don't care enough about the long-term consequences of what that kid will face as they move into adulthood. Right. And that's what I think most of us are saying, is that these folks just want the baby. They don't think past that. And as I said in the last video I made, that people tend to think of like the highlight reel. When they think of having a kid, they picture the Christmas photo and the sitting drinking hot chocolate, opening presents by the tree, and the happy kids, and the teaching your little boy how to throw the ball around, or building this or that with the kids, or getting ice cream, sitting in the sun. It's all the happy things. And those are few and far between. I mean, they are part of it, but you can't have kids just so you can experience the good without absolutely saying hell yes to all the rest of it. A Mac Without a Hoodie said, honestly, these are boring people who don't have any hobbies outside of the attention they get from being pregnant. Hello, Alexandra Rodriguez. They make their whole lives motherhood. Yes. And that's okay if that's what you want. But the problem is that so many women get pulled into this trap and then realize after that it's much harder than they ever thought it was going to be. It's not what people told them it was going to be. It's not the emotional rush that they were told they were going to have as soon as they saw their baby. That's not everyone's experience. And a lot of people end up on the regretful parents subreddit because they didn't do enough research. They didn't really think this through. And that's why this kind of content gets made, just to serve as a cautionary tale. Honest Classic said, I feel so bad for the babies and kids with selfish fools for parents. The world isn't going to get better, and I fear for these kids' futures. Okay Effective said, my body was meant for this as a woman. It's what women were meant to do. That's a quote. Is so incredibly insensitive. What about women who can't get pregnant? Exactly. This idea completely rejects infertile women and trans women, telling them they are wrong and not women. The ability to have children does not define womanhood. Boy, that's for sure. And what does that mean for people who have like some biological children and some adopted children? Their adopted children don't count as much because they didn't come from that woman's body? I mean, it's just all a bunch of gaslighting that society, in my humble opinion, has perpetuated throughout the centuries onto women to force us, to guilt us almost into giving up our lives in the service of the next generation. And we've done that as long as humans have existed. And now here we are. In the first quarter of the 21st century is behind us, and what a fucking mess. So the way we've been doing this is not good. And now we have these anonymous forums where people are sharing information and telling their stories and expressing these taboo feelings, and people are starting to wake up. And that's a good thing, because there's too many fucking people on this planet. We cannot sustain this. We need to have a negative birth rate like for the next 10 years at least, in my humble opinion. Just a reminder. Specialist Sweet said, "For me, it's the global population and how quickly it's grown. In 1900, the global population was around 1.7 billion people. In 2025, it was estimated to be 8.2 billion. That's 125 years, and it went, it quadrupled, more than quadrupled. That is literally insane. And the fact people don't talk about it that much blows my mind. Yes, climate change goes hand in hand with this, but literally just thinking about that number and volume of people on Earth, it was never like this before. Like, seriously, what have we done? I love you, Specialist Sweet. Stop having babies for a bit, you psychopaths. Yes. Yes. Oh my God. I feel so seen. Jesus, we need a good few billion fewer. Absolutely. Yes, we'd have an aging population for a while, but child-free people will have the time, money, and health to look after themselves more than parents would. Amen. Okay, next post is from user CharacterCap708, and it's just called "People Who Have Children Are Selfish." No arguments here. Before anyone jumps in, this isn't about hating kids. It's about questioning why people choose to have them. And that is a very good question to ask. I wish everyone who gets knocked up would ask themselves that question. We're living in a world run by powerful, wealthy old men who still see women primarily as breeders, not full humans. You little brats are disturbing my recording. Leaders can't adapt to change. Wars are breaking out everywhere. Inequality is growing. The climate is collapsing. And yet the default expectation is still have kids, no questions asked. Damn right. That's a great point. What I find disturbing is how many people have children without ever working through their own trauma. Oh my God. Yeah, they all end up on true crime shows. They carry unresolved issues, emotional wounds, and unhealthy patterns into parenthood and then act shocked when those same patterns show up in their children. Sometimes they're forced to confront it when their child suffers. Other times they're completely oblivious. It feels selfish to want to fill a void within yourself and think that replacing it with a child is a good idea. Yes. One of the tropes that we hear a lot is, "I just wanted someone to love me unconditionally." You fucking had a baby so that someone would love you. How selfish is that? It's a baby. It doesn't love anything. It is dependent on you for its very survival. It's crazy, the shit that has been put in people's heads by society, the media, social media even, blah, blah, blah. I also find it ridiculous how many people say they want kids and then spend the next 18 plus years complaining about the cost, the lack of freedom, and how they can't enjoy life anymore. The quality of life they envisioned is gone, and somehow that becomes normalized as just being part of being a parent. Seriously, like, what's the point of that? So that the human race carries on? There's no need for the human race to live forever. Nothing is forever. We will die out one day. It's guaranteed. If you generally want children and are emotionally equipped, self-aware, and intentional about it, fine. Yes, absolutely. If you are someone who is absolutely ecstatic to be a parent and you have done your research and you have worked through your own shit and you are awake and know that it's not okay to leave your kids alone somewhere while you go to the club or go get lip filler or whatever, like the stupidity of people and the things that children suffer because people can just breed and produce more kids whenever. It is tragic. And we should have overcome this by now. How? I don't know. She goes on, but the automatic assumption that everyone should have kids or that it's some moral duty honestly makes no sense to me in the world we're currently living in. I'm curious how others see this, especially people who have actually thought deeply about why they want or don't want children. Okay, Soylik said, "I completely agree. I find it very funny how when you say you don't want kids, everybody says, 'Oh, you're so selfish.' And I get it. It's a way of looking at it. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I'm just sitting here minding my own business and I'm selfish? Somebody explain that to me. I mean, I guess maybe in past centuries when you needed to produce kids to work the farm or some shit. Oh, maybe you're being selfish because you're denying sex to men. That must be it, right? It's always about that. Okay, but then I think children should be a priority for people who have them. And because I know prioritizing someone's well being, dreams, and needs over my own will make me unhappy, I choose not to have them. Because children didn't ask to be brought into this world, but they would suffer like many of us did from having a mother that deeply resents them. Now, look at the most common reasons why people have kids. Oh, here we go. Number one, because who will take care of you when you're older? The fucking stupidest reason that humanity has ever come up with for breeding. Because you want someone to take care of you? You're rolling the dice so that if you get to be old, and if your child is a capable adult when you get to be old, they can wipe your ass for you? Who came up with this ass backwards logic? Who came up with this nonsense? Number two, because I want to leave my legacy, another completely meaningless statement. Your children are not your legacy. Something that all you do is have sex and bing, bang, boom, there they are. That's not your legacy. That's your lineage. That's your bloodline continuing if you want it to. There's no law that says you have to. I am the last of my father's line. And who gives a shit? He didn't. He was the one that always told me kids suck. And I'm his only kid. Okay. Number three, because I want to have a mini me to shape. Oh my God. Awful. Awful. Number four, because everyone around me said I should. Fucking dim-witted. Now, who's the selfish one here? Whenever you say you don't want kids, everybody asks, why? I think it's the people who want to have them are the ones who should be asked. Yes. I think I'm going to start doing that just to shake people up when someone says that they want kids. I want kids someday or whatever. Why? You know? I mean, we've had to deal with it. People have asked me a gazillion times, why don't you want kids? You can have one. Go fuck yourself. I know my own mind, okay? I know that children, human children, are not anything I am interested in at all. I was born to be a doggy mom, and at least I know my own mind. And the world needs to accept that all other women know their own mind too. Choosing not to do something is far wiser than choosing to do it being ignorant, having no idea what you're doing. Bella Ryder said, yes, so many people will never get it or understand. Revenues Avast said, having kids is the ultimate form of selfishness. It's misery loves company personified. Imagine I have a really bad tasting cookie and I don't like it, but I went around yelling at people to eat it. After they take a bite of it, what will they think of me? They will think I am somehow cruel or unkind for forcing them a cookie that is not nice and that I myself don't like. And that's how most parents are, for sure. They don't like life. They don't even have a good life, yet they're running around to bring another innocent into it and suffer like they have. Yeah, misery loves company. Unless someone loves life, has a great life, and categorically believes that it's worth living and experiencing, then they have no argument for wanting to bring new life into this world. I don't know. I mean, I have a great life. I love life. I have a lust for life. And I absolutely know that having a child would ruin it all. So it's really a matter of knowing your own mind, knowing what you're getting yourself into, which is the reason why this content is made. Okay, and finally, from someone who deleted their account, having kids is objectively more selfish than being child-free. Absolutely agree. Breeders sometimes say that not having kids is selfish, but the logic behind this is idiotic and essentially boils down to, quote, you're not sacrificing your happiness to be responsible for a hypothetical human being you don't want, and it offends me. And that is absolutely true. People have feelings about child-free people who consciously say, no, I'm not having kids. I don't want kids. I don't want to raise kids. I don't need to have kids. And people get very upset about that. And this is absolutely why, because they want you to sacrifice your happiness to be responsible for a hypothetical human being that you don't want. That makes sense, really? Yet, the reasons people want kids are almost all selfish: spreading their genetics, having someone to take care of them when they're old, a sense of purpose, quote unquote legacy, etc. Not to mention how often people have kids when it is objectively unfair to the child, such as parents who intentionally have children despite living in poverty. The sick thing is these parents often martyr themselves for sacrificing financial comfort for their children. No, you didn't sacrifice financial comfort for your children. You prioritized your desire to spread your genetics over the quality of life for your child. That's a that's a good point. They're not wrong. Sometimes the most selfless decision regarding children is not having them, no matter how much you want them. To be clear, I'm not saying people are wrong for having kids. I'm just saying it is objectively more selfish than not having them. Yeah, how that is not blatantly obvious at this juncture is beyond me. Be More is a punk rock town. I'm assuming that's Baltimore. They said, I get the financial side, but it's been my experience that if the choice is lose 2 days and pay for an abortion or just keep on, most people will just keep on. Yeah. Yeah, because when you're pregnant, and you don't know what to do, it can be daunting, especially nowadays, to find an abortion provider, to make that appointment. If you've never done it before, you wonder, how much pain am I going to experience, et cetera, et cetera. How much emotional pain will I feel after this? But most people just do kind of get frozen with the decision, or a lot of people do. And they just figure, well, this is biology. This is what we're supposed to do. And so they just throw their hands up and hope for the best. But every time someone talks about having kids, it's like, you're aware that they're sentient beings, right? Not a sweater. And it seems like they really fucking don't. Even something as simple as it can be harmful to your children to make major life decisions without including them in the decision was met with, I'm a parent. I'm not going to let some kid dictate how I live my life. Some kid, like the kid that came from you. Like you are, are you aware you're talking about your kid? Exactly. The being who is totally dependent on you and would maybe not like to have their life uprooted because you want something, and suddenly I'm selfish and crazy? Exactly. Latvia commented, fully agree. I'm a parent. I probably wouldn't have been, but I was raised in a cult. I didn't snap out of it till after I had kids. Anyway, nothing pisses me off like parents treating the kids they fucking created like a burden. Yes. Yeah, that is one of those 20th century notions that has to go. You laid down and made these children, and then you laid down and birthed these children. You don't get to complain about it. You just don't. Not at this point in human history. We all know how babies are made. And if you don't know how hard it is, how expensive it is, how all-encompassing it is to raise a baby, then you should not be having one. Because all you got to do is pick up this thing you carry around with you all day, every day, that you probably have right next to you when you're sleeping, and you can just search and find out anything you want to know about how much having a kid sucks. And you should probably do that before you get pregnant. And the reason that I'm getting aggravated with that, and I say it's a 20th century thing, is because if you watch my content, you probably know my parents divorced when I was about 4. My mom married my stepfather when I was 9. My stepfather and I hated him on sight when I was 8, and it's no better now. I haven't spoken to him in well over 20 years. And my mother is still married to him. Anyway, at one point, it came up sometime in the last 10 years. So I was talking to my mother, and she alluded to the fact, well, we were really good parents. And obviously I hate my stepfather. So no, he wasn't a good parent. He wasn't fit to be anyone's parent. But I asked her, what makes you say that? And she said, as if I was insane for asking. She said, we kept a roof over your head. We put food on the table. Put the bar in hell, Mom. You thought you were going to have the kind of children that can live outside and don't need to eat? I mean, what were you expecting? So you go into having children with your eyes wide open. You know exactly what you're getting yourself into. You don't get to pretend that you didn't know it was going to be this hard. And if you are not interested in giving your life's blood to making sure that your kids are raised in a loving, well-adjusted, peaceful home so they can go out in the world and be good people and accomplish great things, then you should not be having kids. Don't breed. Don't do it. Don't make your life harder just so you can ruin somebody else's future. They go on. Nothing pisses me off like parents treating the kids they fucking created like a burden, like the kids owe them something. Yeah. You fucking made them exist. They didn't ask to exist. Stop punishing them for your shitty choices. Exactly. Damn. And I have said all of this to my mom. If you don't watch my content, I have mentioned before, my mother and I am very lucky to have my mother because she is one of those rare parents who has admitted to her bad choices and apologized and blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't mean it makes my childhood PTSD just disappear. Sifical said, I never understood the whole you're selfish for not wanting kids. How can it be selfish? If I want my time and money to be my own and not be dictated to by an ankle biter, then yep, I'm selfish 100% and proud. Absolutely. Someone who deleted their account said, gotta be honest, I don't have kids for selfish reasons. I like my sleep. I like my significant other putting me first. I like my money. I like my free time. But you know what? Sometimes it's okay to be selfish. Absolutely. Von Snootingham, here we go. Von Snootingham said, but it's kind of not selfish. It'd be one thing if all of a sudden a half a dozen kids appeared in your house and said, nope, off to the orphanage with you, urchins. I want to sleep in and then buy booze. That would be selfish. But who are you not giving your time to? Who are you selfishly keeping your money from? No one. There's no child there. Yeah. If you don't have kids, you're not harming anyone. You're not destroying anyone's self-esteem with your abuse. You are not, and I'm just saying that is what I experienced. You're not causing any damage to the world or other people because you chose not to have children. So if that child is not there, then yeah, they're not missing out on anything. They don't exist. And that's a great gift at this point. That is a gift you give your potential children, is don't have them. That's the thing I just can't wrap my head around with the you're selfish argument. How is it selfish to not give to a person that doesn't fucking exist? Yes, please, someone tell us. And Sifical responded, perfectly. I'm being selfish then. Yeah, me 3. And that's what I have for you today, guys. So please do let me know in the comments what you think of these posts. Do you think people who choose not to have children are selfish? Or are you like me and can't figure out why anyone would even say that? Let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear what you think. So if you made it to the end of this video, I thank you so much. Please do subscribe, like this video, hype it, all those cool YouTube things. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much.